Hello there, Writing Workshop, and happy November. I want to start off today with a devotional thought, and then we'll look at today's lesson plan. I think you've noticed already that this week just has one big lesson plan to work through as we wrap up our persuasive research essay. But let's start with this thought from Ephesians chapter 4. It says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give place to the devil." Perhaps you've seen this phrase before as, "In your anger, do not sin." It's the same idea. I wanted to give this verse today because I was angry over the weekend. Angry when I sat down to get working on catching up on writing workshop grading and realizing that less than half of my students submitted first drafts of the persuasive research essay. And I should say, I got angry at that first. I got angry at my students first, just my knee-jerk reaction. But then I realized that what I was really angry at was this semester. Angry at the circumstances that we're teaching and learning in. Angry at myself for not being more on top of my work. Just angry at the world, just for how things are as they are right now. I don't want you to worry about that. I did reshuffle quite a bit with the persuasive research essay last night. As a way to try to support you guys as best as possible. But in my anger, my first reaction was to sin. My first reaction was to blame other people, was to blame myself for things that are not necessarily in my control. It's not that I cursed by using swear words, but I cursed myself. I cursed my students. I cursed the world for what it is. I didn't trust God with the process, at least in the moment. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, while not totally unfounded, my anger could be directed in a better way. So out of my anger over the weekend, no, I did not continue to grade in the moment. I was a little too mad to get things done in the moment, but I did rework some stuff for this week. I thought through what would best service my students and best service myself. I did rest on that as well. So I didn't quite finish everything I set out to do over the weekend, but I gave myself a chance to rest before I did anything else that was foolish in my anger. I hope that this verse blesses you this week too. Maybe you've been in a similar spot that I was at over this weekend, just kind of angry at the world for how things are the way they are right now. And perhaps angry at yourself, angry at others, blaming yourself, blaming others. When it says do not let the sun go down in your wrath, it means do not let your anger get the best of you. I could have let my anger get the best of me. I could have given up. Instead, I adjusted, I trusted God, I prayed. And I rested after that as well, just to give a chance to look at it anew the next day. By letting our anger control us, we give place to the devil. And we know from our chapels this semester that when the devil has a foothold in our lives, he takes it in a direction that we don't want to go. It might seem like a way we want to go. Maybe giving up, for instance, is a way we want to go in this semester. It's what the devil wants. He wants us to lead ourselves towards destruction and away from God. We're reminded today that God is on our side, and that when we trust Him with the process, no matter how hard it is right now, He will take us to better places, myself and you alike. That is my prayer for you this week as well, just that we can continue to show grace and mercy to one another as we're facing some really hard times, but also so that we can trust God in the process. I pray that God is still giving me wisdom on how to manage some of the more difficult parts of this class. I pray that He's giving you just the strength, the courage, the confidence, the energy, the motivation to do your best as well. As I said, this week is really just one big lesson plan with a lot of time to work. So I'll click on our lesson agenda here. This week, your objective is to revise and edit written work based on instructor feedback. So I made a lot of headway on feedback last night. I have a lot more to make tonight, especially for second hour. But you'll notice that just to give as much space as possible to reviewing earlier feedback and finishing up your persuasive research essay, I'm putting no journals in for this week. That allows me to catch up a little more on earlier journal grades and allows you to actually see my feedback on earlier journal grades too. At some point this week, as you're working on your persuasive research essay, finishing that up to complete, I want you to check Schoology for other feedback. So right now, it says I've commented. I'm still in the midst of it. Again, I gave myself a chance to rest while I was angry while working on other assignments over the weekend. I'm nearly done with commenting on college essays. Just have some more to do in second hour. Old journal entries I'm working through, trying to give some grading feedback on those too. And grammar assignments I'm working on catching up on as well. Be sure to check for that feedback while you're not journaling this week, just to see what kind of patterns are emerging in your writing. If you're noticing low grades on all of your grammar assignments, for instance, I would review all that grammar instruction just to make sure that you're ready for finishing your persuasive research essay. Take a look through your journals. If they're consistently too short, that gives you a goal to set for expanding on your thoughts. Check out your college application essay, largely because you still have a couple of weeks to revise yours to get back up to 100% of what you missed. Those are not due until the end of the 13th. So I want to give as much time as possible for revisions on that. Please know that next week there is no additional homework besides those revisions. So I want to give you a chance to get that stuff in. Regarding your persuasive research essay, since I got less than half of my students submitting first drafts of persuasive research essays, what I've done is scrap that assignment. I have given 1 to 10 points of extra credit for everyone who submitted one. So thank you for staying on top of it, those 20 or so of you who did that. For the rest of you, you'll want to make sure you touch base with me this week about the final draft of your persuasive research essay. It's due by midnight on Friday. I thought about bumping that deadline further, but in order to give myself as much time as possible to grade before grade reports are due, I would like to start grading those over the weekend. Again, if you did submit a first draft, I'm working on commenting and giving you some extra credit on that. I'll still allow first draft submissions if you like. They don't appear in the gradebook anymore, but if you want to go back into the earlier lesson folder and find that, I can still take those over these next 2 days here, just so you know. Next week, we'll just dive straight into our next essay project. You should know next week I'm not going to introduce any new grammar, just to keep homework as light as possible. That will give you some time as we end the grading period to revise college application essays and make sure everything's tied up with your persuasive research essay 2. So I put a couple of things that are probably still relevant for you as you finish your persuasive research essay here. If you haven't watched our video on how to create your works cited page, I've posted that right here, along with a link to EasyBib you can follow for an easy way to get your full MLA citations. I've also put a revising and editing checklist right here. So I would say as soon as you're done typing your persuasive research essay, work through the revising and editing checklist point by point, just to make sure that you are ready to submit your essay. Once you're ready to submit, our zone for turning in is persuasive research essay final draft. I will ask that you don't submit that just yet. Maybe wait a couple of days before you submit yours, because once again, I'm still wrapping up my feedback on earlier assignments. Again, it's not due until Friday the 6th at midnight, so you've got some time. That is a day off of school. You got some time to get those submitted after you take a look at earlier feedback. Writing workshop, I want you guys to know that I love you. I'm not angry with you, so to speak. I'm really angry at how COVID-19 has impacted this course particularly. Between the two courses I teach, Applied English and Writing Workshop, this class has gotten hit big time by the shift to hybrid learning, so I'm still adjusting. I know you guys are adjusting too. I've set a goal for myself to do a better job of trusting God with the process and adjusting as we need. Best of luck to you as you write this week. Again, feel free to reach out to me through Teams, email, or Schoology Messenger, just to touch base on how things are going with your persuasive research essay.